Alright, class, today we're going to start the Civil Rights Movement. We're going to do section 1. The Civil Rights Movement went from 1945 to 1975. Had a great impact, saw a lot of societal changes, and a lot of people come to the forefront of our great nation and make some drastic changes. I hope you know the four people here. We have Thurgood Marshall, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, and then Martin Luther King Jr. in the left corner. To start, we have Jim Crow laws. These were laws that segregated African Americans and whites in the South. They were pretty common in the South, not so much in the North. There's more such thing as called the de facto segregation in the North, unlike in the South where there were Jim Crow laws that were basically understood. And as you can see in the pictures, restrooms, buses, everything said white, colored. If it's a bus, they said on the back of the bus. So you kind of get the idea. And these Jim Crow laws were understood. Next, we got Plessy versus Ferguson, 1896 Supreme Court ruling. Huge Supreme Court ruling. Like I've told you this before, you're going to have to know this Supreme Court ruling will be on the EOC test that you're all happy for, I'm sure. And it's an 1896 Supreme Court ruling established separate but equal. That means that school that is African American must be equal and have the same resources, same type of books, same type of funding as the white school. Usually wasn't the case in the South. The white school was funded pretty well. The African American school, not so much. Not so much at all. And that was a problem. And would lead to a lot of issues. Hopefully you will kick out of that comic strip there. Next we have the NAACP. On this one you need to make sure to write just what NAACP stands for and when it was founded. NAACP you might have heard before, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. The NAACP has been around since 1909 and they became extremely active. The most famous person really come out of the NAACP is Thurgood Marshall, who became first African American Supreme Court Justice. But that's kind of the NAACP. They usually have their hands in anything that's involving any kind of civil rights at all. Next here we have Brown versus the Board. What did it end? What did it end? It ended separate but equal. It overturned Plessy versus Ferguson. It said that separate really wasn't equal, and as you see there in the comic strip, Plessy was Poopy, and Earl Warren, who was the Supreme Court Justice at that time, says catchy Earl, but how about separate but equal isn't equal? And that was the case. It was not equal, and Brown versus the Board, hopefully you have an idea of where that occurred. It occurred in a little ways on the highway, but in Topeka, Kansas. Rock Chalk Jayhawk there for you all, and but it was a huge Supreme Court case, and really changed and set the nation on fire with different ideas, different things occurring, and changed our outlook and led to the Little Rock Nine, which we're going to talk about here in a bit. It was a huge Supreme Court case at that time. And then it led to the Little Rock Nine, because now schools are not separate or equal. It's time to integrate. The federal government's saying it's time to integrate, and in Little Rock, they didn't like that very much. And these 9 African American students, yes, there are 10. I don't know where the other person came from. Just wanted to catch a little fame. But there are 9 African American students wanted to go to the white school, Little Rock Central High School. Well, for about 3 weeks, the governor of old Arkansas said, that ain't going to happen. He said, no, they're not going to go to school. He posts National Guard there, says no African American kids are going to go to that school. Eisenhower catches wind, and boom, he lays down the hammer. He brings in the 101st Airborne to deal with this. He's fed up with the governor. He's had it. So he's going to bring in the 101st Airborne in the middle of the night. and say and tell the National Guard, you're going to listen to me. You're not going to listen to your governor. And they're going to stick there until school really things turn around. They were there for about the rest of the year. And these kids, they made sure they escorted them to school. They had white moms chasing them down, soccer moms yelling at them, screaming at them, people posting up, screaming at them, and it was really, these were people that are your age, and they were doing stuff that you can't even fathom. Just imagine the person sitting next to you, his parents yelling at you for going to school. Then we had the Civil Rights Act of 1957. Eisenhower signed with African Americans, signed with I think that is Thurgood Marshall there in that picture there. But it is intended to protect the right of African Americans to vote. Really didn't do a whole lot, didn't have a lot of teeth to it. But it was the first civil rights bill since Reconstruction. That's why it is important to know. You need to know that. It was the first civil rights bill since Reconstruction. Then we have the Montgomery bus boycott. Rosa Parks challenged segregation on public transportation. Rosa there, some believe that she just sat down because she was tired, but she was really doing it to send a message, and she didn't want to sit in the back of the bus. She wanted to sit in the front, and that led to a lot of issues and a lot of problems. She didn't want to move. Finally, police had to come and remove her forcibly, and led to a bus boycott in Montgomery. African Americans began walking to wherever they were going to go instead of riding public transportation. And then lastly, kind of just dive into this a little bit right today. Not a whole lot. We won't get very deep into this, but MLK, his philosophy was to end segregation through nonviolence. He wanted to do that. He wanted to end segregation through nonviolence. And that was his goal. He had a mentor, and he had where he got a lot of his ideas from. You might see up on the wall right here. Hopefully you can see that there. Who that individual is. That is Mahatma Gandhi. And MLK read up on him a lot and really believed in what he taught, and that was changes through nonviolence. Changes through nonviolence. Hopefully you've gotten notes down, gotten the worksheet complete there as we read this, and hopefully this is maybe this is better for you than the usual lectures of everything and distractions. So I would like your feedback at the bottom of the worksheet. And once you finish this, you shut down your computer and grab a book.